Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing my monthly wrap-up. So I'm going to talk about all of the books that I read in July. All of the books that I read in July. Okay. I don't know why I said June. I had a lot of good reads this month, so I am very, very excited for this. Let's get into today's video. So the first two books that I'm going to be talking about, they're two in a series, so I'm just going to talk about them like individually and together at the same time. So first we have It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han, and then We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. This is the second and third book in the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. I gave this one 4.5 stars and this one 4.75 stars, I think. And it's very interesting because I read this in my Reading Romance for a Week reading vlog, and I was Team Jeremiah book 1 and book 2, and then I read the beginning of book 3 and we were quickly on Team Conrad. So I like switched sides so quickly. But let's talk about It's Not Summer Without You first. This was very good. It ended up being, I ended up like connecting with the characters, enjoying the story a lot more than I did It's The Summer I Turned Pretty, which is the first book, obviously. So yeah, this series got a lot better for me personally in the second book. I feel like I connected with the characters a lot more, since, you know, they were just, I don't know, you got more like emotions from them instead of just like summer love triangles. I don't really know how to explain this, but that's the best way that I can explain that. And then We'll Always Have Summer was, I think it was a very good ending to the story. It wasn't quite 5 stars, but I did really like it. And I am really happy with the ending because I was so frustrated with the decisions that were being made in the beginning of the book. But the ending wasn't, the ending was good. I feel like that was a good way to wrap up this series. Some people are gonna not know why I would say that, but okay. The next book that I read was Beach Read by Emily Henry. This was my second Emily Henry book that I read this month, and I gave it 5 stars and I loved it. I talked about it like in depth in my Reading Romance for a Week reading vlog. So if you want like my in-depth thoughts on this book and It's Not Summer Without You and a couple other ones that I read this month, then you should go check out that reading vlog. But I really loved this book. Sarah Caroli like is obsessed with this book and like Emily Henry in general, which everybody on like booktube is, but so that's what convinced me to read this, I guess. She reread it a couple months ago, I think like 2 or something like that, and she just, I don't know, watching her love rereading it made me want to read it, and I understand why she loves this book so much. So yeah. The next book that I read was Seagrass Pier by Colleen Coble, which is the third book in the Hope Beach trilogy. This is a interconnected standalone like romance series. I have like posted about the whole series on Instagram as a whole. And this is a Christian author, so all of her books are like Christian based and things like that. And this trilogy is like romance and mystery, which I talked about in my Reading Romance for a Week vlog. This book was also in that vlog. So I talked about this book in depth, but the first like 80 pages were very hard for me to get into. I didn't really know what was going on. But then like after that I like sped through this book and it was really, really good. So I gave it 5 stars. Did I say I gave it 5 stars? I don't know, but I gave it 5 stars. Alright, the next book that I read, well, I reread this one, but Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I finished reading this one in my Reading Romance for a Week vlog, but I think in that vlog I talked about how I saw something on Instagram Reels about the penny. If you've read this book, you know what the penny is. And it just influenced me to reread this book, and I did, and I loved it just as much as I did the first time. I gave it 5 stars. I read this book in February for the first time, so it's only been a couple months since I first read it, and I still enjoyed it just as much. The next book that I read, that I don't have a physical copy of because there's not a physical copy of this book, but I read Better Than the Prom, which is book 1.5 of the Better Than the Movies. Technically it's a duology now because there's a second book coming out next summer, which I'm very excited for. This is in Wes's POV, and it's basically like the prom and then everything that happened after the prom in Better Than the Movies. I don't think I did rate it. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. And I'm so happy that the second book is going to be dual POV, because we really needed more I really need more of Wes's POV because he's just amazing. So that's also another book that I read. Alright, the next book that I read was People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This was my first ever Emily Henry book. I gave it 4.75 stars. I really liked it. And for some reason I thought that people didn't people don't like it as much as like Beach Read and Happy Place and Book Lovers, but for some reason I thought that people just thought it was okay. But then when I went on Goodreads to like put my review up of this book, it was a high rating and there wasn't a lot of, I don't know, for some reason I thought this book wasn't as highly rated as it was, but it was very good and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, this was a very good book. I didn't read this in a romance reading, my reading romance for a week vlog. There's a plot twist we never saw coming, but I really enjoyed it. I think I read it almost in one sitting. It was like 2 sittings. But yeah, it was very good. It was second chance, and it was like best friends, strangers to best friends to strangers to lovers, which is very complicated, but you understand when you read the book. And then I also read Ignite Me by Tahereh Mafi, which is the 3rd book in the Shatter Me series. I did do a reading vlog on this book. I know, we're so surprised. And I gave this book 5 stars. I really, really, really enjoyed this book. This is everybody's like favorite book in the whole series, and I understand why, but I also haven't read books 4, 5, and 6, so I don't know, maybe it'll change for me, but this is everybody's favorite book, and for now I understand why it is everybody's favorite book. This book is very, very good, and you know, just Aaron Warner is the, like, he's the standard, okay? I obviously have a reading vlog, so my in-depth thoughts on this book are in this. So yeah, this book was very, very good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I can't wait to read book 4 this month. Alright, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had a lot of fun talking about all the books that I read in July. Please subscribe and like this video and hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload, which is on Mondays. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!